Have you ever come across a worker in a restaurant, store, or office who just wasn't good at their job? Probably. Well, this sort of thing happens all over the world every day, and we're not just talking about those politicians either. Ahead, we have a bunch of mistakes, errors, and goofs which shouldn't really have happened, but they did. Most are just funny, but some will actually have you concerned for the future of our species. Now, before we start, we have one important job for you. See the subscribe and notification buttons? Your only job is to press those. Don't let us down. Accessories. Let's face it, today the movie world has been taken over by the stars of Marvel and DC Comics. It seems like everywhere you look, it's all about Batman, Wonder Woman, Wolverine, and the Avengers. Naturally, this has everyone wanting to cash in with their own products. Now, we know there are so many superheroes, it can be hard to keep the names straight, but in the case of this backpack, someone really dropped the ball. How hard is it to know the difference between Batman and Superman? Come on, people. Perhaps we should force whoever passed this product to watch a few superhero movies. Just don't let them use this remote because it's pretty obvious the person in charge of quality control can't do their job. At the grocery store. Eating right is a major concern for a lot of people today. After all, so much of what we eat is loaded with sugar and ends up being highly processed. That stuff just isn't good for you. Experts say we should use our eyes and read the labels in order to ensure we get the best nutrients. Sounds pretty good, right? Well, in most cases, that would work if some people at the grocery store could do their jobs. We're mainly concerned with those in charge of actually labeling the food. After all, picture your wife sending you to the store for a watermelon and you come home with this corn. Have a sweet tooth? Head on over to the bakery. Just beware that whoever works there fails at sports because they've labeled their football donuts as baseballs. Food producers. Sticking with food, it's not always the people in the grocery store that mess up with their jobs. Go up the food chain to the companies who package the stuff, and you can find all sorts of failure. Imagine grabbing a can of tomatoes at the local grocery store and getting all excited about creating an amazing pasta dish for dinner. You get home and open the can of tomatoes only to be greeted by this. Now, we're not farmers, but those are either the strangest looking tomatoes ever or someone in charge of the plant didn't do their job. Not a problem. The pasta can wait until tomorrow. For now, how about a nice glass of juice? There's just one problem, because someone failed at their job in the factory. Your juice's resealable lid is resealing absolutely nothing. Ah, boo. The liquor aisle. Alright, our final stop while out shopping doesn't involve the failure of someone in the canning plant or the bakery. This one is completely on the person responsible for stocking the shelves. Now, we know there's water in wine, and we've even heard stories of one particularly famous religious figure who could turn water into wine. But this is just wrong. Unless they're now packaging water in really fancy bottles, there's a stock boy who needs a talking to. Unfortunately, that's not even the worst one. Heading over to the kids aisle, we'd expect to see juice boxes and other fun drinks. Well, we guess this drink is fun, but really more appropriate for someone who is of legal age. Unless Smirnoff has changed their product lineup, we think someone is really bad at their job. Public bathrooms. Yes, we hate using them, but sometimes there's just no other option. Public bathrooms can get pretty nasty at times, and if you're like us, you really worry about the germs. Well, good news. Some designers and janitors have failed so miserably at their jobs that germs will actually be the least of your worries. Let's take this soap dispenser as an example. It works with liquid soap. Unfortunately, someone has restocked it with a bar of soap, which we're pretty sure won't work. Well, that's okay, because you only need to go number one? Oh look, whoever designed this bathroom and the positioning of the urinals is clearly terrible at their job. Who on earth thought that this was a good idea that would actually work? Blech! Definite fail. I fail. If you want to get people excited, tell them that Apple is releasing some sort of new product. Now, in general, this tech company hits home runs on a regular basis. So when someone fails at their job here, it really shows. When the Magic Mouse 2 was released, it looked awesome and was even rechargeable. Great, right? Not so much. You see, rather than place the charge port on the side, back, or even front, like any sane person would do, someone at Apple opted for the bottom. This means the mouse is 100% useless if you ever need to work while the thing is charging. Now, Apple says it can charge super fast, but why even design it like this in the first place when a port around the edge would work perfectly fine? Toy makers. Most toys are mass-produced to meet the unending demands of children all over the world. Naturally, the odd slip-up will occur when a less-than-perfect product gets through the assembly line. After all, who here has ever opened up an action figure to find it was missing a blaster pistol or a sword? Well, in the case of these stuffed animals, it's a bit worse. It's kind of funny to look at, but who wants to be the kid who accidentally got the toy with the wonky eyes? Ultimately, it's not a problem because you can just open up your Hobbit action figure set. Yes, relive those movie memories with Legolas and Obi-Wan Kenobi? That's not even the same movie franchise, guys. We don't need a magic ring or the Force to tell us someone definitely failed at their job here. Clothing designer. We place a lot of importance on what we wear, and that's why so many companies advertise so aggressively to get our hard-earned money. You'd think it would be a competitive market. Those in charge of quality and overall design would maybe be good at their jobs. We found a couple who definitely aren't. First, there's this t-shirt you could buy to show off your worldliness. Just one problem. The shirt says Asia, but that image is of Africa. Alright, so we'll stay clear of that and buy a shirt with an uplifting and positive slogan. Don't be happy, worry? Yes, we know what they're trying to get at here, but whoever was in charge of this design failed miserably in how it was executed. Okay, we have another job for you to do, and that's to answer our quiz question. One yearly obligation of all working citizens is to report their income every year at tax time. Do you know how many Americans on average avoid submitting their taxes every year? We'll let you know the answer after these miserable failures. McPhail Deluxe. If you're like us, you know fast food is really bad for you, but you just can't resist popping in for a quick burger or those addictive French fries. We wonder what people thought while standing in line at this McDonald's. Yes, that sign is definitely advertising ice, but thanks to a terrible design, it appears as though you can actually buy a 10-pound bag of mice for just $1. We're not in the bulk mice buying business, but we bet that's a pretty good deal. Now, if that mice deal has you heading for a competitors like Wendy's, think again. The Wendy's sign person clearly isn't the best at their job either. We think we'll pass because it sounds like those juicy beef patties have a bit too much human in them. We're also thinking no one applied for a job that day. Store failure. Sure, there are lots of signs and ads to get us into the store, yet even when we're in our favorite electronics or hardware stores, we're bombarded with more signs trying to tempt us to a certain product. Advertising a sale is a great way to attract shoppers. At first glance, this half-off sign caught our eye. Now, we weren't the best at math in school, but we're pretty sure half of $30 is $15. Apparently in this store, the laws of mathematics just do not apply. Neither do laws of spelling and grammar. Buying toys for the kids that are fun and educational is a big plus for parents. However, this sign is just comically bad. Trying to market software to kids as a learning tool by using a sign that contains basic spelling errors is just sad. It's also proof someone responsible failed at a simple task. Yay! Highway failed. If you need to get somewhere in a hurry, you just hop on the old interstate and you'll be there in no time. Thankfully, one thing our hard-earned tax dollars go to are signs to make navigation a lot easier. Electronic signs, for instance, can be changed to give us immediate updates on the road conditions. In this instance, the person in charge has clearly failed at their simple job by giving drivers some rather confusing advice. If the left lanes are closed because of an accident, how on earth are drivers going to use the left lanes? This person likely meant to direct drivers to the right lanes. That said, your one job was to type a very simple message for the signs, and you failed at it miserably. Politicians. Now, we're not taking sides in any political debates here. What we can all agree upon is that both Democrats and Republicans have an uncanny ability to screw up at their jobs. We only have to look at this meme-worthy campaign shot of Senator John McCain to understand that. We're sure his PR people told him to stay cool and composed. He couldn't even do that, and the internet now owns this forever. Don't laugh too much, you guys on the left. British Labour leader Jeremy Corbyn demonstrated recently that when it comes to a simple high five, he is the king of failure. In this instance, he missed altogether and hit the woman next to him right on the boob. Oh dear. Just smile, clap, and wave at the people. Whew. Is it really that hard? Grounds crews. The beauty about professional and amateur sports are that the games are played on a set system of rules on a set playing surface. From the football field to the baseball diamond, everything is measured off and standardized so ground crews can easily maintain the surface. Or can they? Look at the football field at the University of Minnesota. Does anything seem odd to you? That's right, the logo should be at the 50-yard line smack in the middle. Instead, it's at the 45-yard line, which makes no sense. Confusion with the lines seems normal. Just look at the MLS playoff game between Montreal and Toronto last season. Ground crews inexplicably messed up the size of the penalty box, requiring a complete repaint while the old lines were spray painted green. Now that's embarrassing. Athletes. It only makes sense that since we made fun of grounds crews for failing miserably at their job, we also poke a little fun at the athletes themselves. We know for a fact that a suit and dress shoes aren't popular attire for a game of soccer. Yet when you're David Beckham, it probably doesn't matter. While demonstrating a free kick for some onlookers, Beck suffered a humiliating fail and ended up on his backside. At least his failure wasn't during a competitive match. Enter Denver's Danny Trevathan. This Bronco was truly clear to enter the end zone for a touchdown. There was just one huge problem. Trevathan failed to bring the ball with him after he got too excited about scoring. Premature celebration? It happens to the best of us, Danny. It happens to the best of us. Road signs. As you can tell by the little progress bar at the bottom of the video, our time is almost up. So it only makes sense that we should stop with this entry. Or maybe we should stop? We know it can be a lot of pressure to meet deadlines and get that paint down on the asphalt in time, but the worst part about this hilarious failure is that there was a stop sign right there the whole time. Having so much trouble spelling the word stop has us thinking this painter needs to go back to school. Unfortunately, they won't get to class using this other sign. In this case, the irony is killing us since a school is where you learn to spell words. You know, like school. Then again, maybe the guy in charge of painting this part of the road was Sean Connery, in which case, school makes total sense. So, do you know how many Americans fail miserably every year when it comes to filing their taxes? Official estimates put it at around 7 million people. That means for every 20 tax-eligible citizens, one is failing to submit their information. Geez, no wonder the IRS gets so upset. More like the Irritable Revenue Service. Well, we think that's enough failure for today, folks. Of course, if you like seeing people in ridiculous situations or doing incredibly dumb things, then The Richest has you covered. Be sure to check out these videos and learn what not to do. Now, our last job for you is to remember to press that subscribe button before you head out. That's your only job. Don't let us down. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye for now.